Hey everybody, so I just wanted to talk a little bit more about invasive and native species in regards to the video that you watched last week. An invasive species is an organism that can do ecological or economic harm in an environment where it is not native. So ecological harm could be anything in that environment that it's causing a problem to. So if it is affecting the food web, affecting food chains, decreasing the population of any organism around it, that would be ecological harm. Economic harm would be causing harm to finances. So paying money in order to get rid of an organism, paying money to save another organism. Either one of those would be economic harm to us in order to try to get rid of or protect other organisms in that area. A native species is a species that naturally occurs within a region, either evolving there or arriving and becoming established without human assistance. The key part of this sentence is without human assistance. An organism can migrate or travel from North America down to South America, stay there and then come back without human assistance. That doesn't mean it's invasive when it goes down to South America, right? It usually has some kind of problem, and it's usually caused by humans, as most things are. So many times this year we've talked about what a species is. A species is a group of living organisms consisting of similar individuals capable of exchanging genes or interbreeding and then creating viable offspring. All right, so it's important to remember what a species is as we talk about invasives and native species. Are invasive species common, and what is an example of one? Obviously, invasive species are becoming more and more of a problem as humans are continually assisting in moving organisms from one location to another and not thinking about the consequences of these organisms traveling. So there are 4,300 invasive species that have been identified just in the United States alone. Some popular examples: Burmese python, Asian carp, zebra mussels, lampreys. These are some of the major organisms causing havoc. Obviously, there are thousands of other examples. Burmese python, like you saw in the video, was brought over as pets. They were released into the Everglades, and now they are causing havoc in the Everglades because there's nothing to eat a Burmese python. You can't really stop it. They grow so big, and then they dominate and become the apex predator in that ecosystem. Asian carp, zebra mussels, and lampreys are becoming problems in the Great Lakes. Most of you may not know what a lamprey is, so I got a couple pictures of it on the next slide. Alright, so this is what a lamprey is. They're usually native to the Atlantic coastline with other regions in the ocean, and they're becoming a problem in the Great Lakes. This is what their mouth looks like. They're parasitic organisms, so they attach to a host, and then they draw energy from that host over time until the host either somehow gets rid of it or happens to die. Obviously, with all these teeth, you can imagine that it's pretty hard to get rid of an organism that's latched onto you with that many teeth. So it doesn't happen too often. Usually it's by the lamprey's decision that it gets removed from it. There are also lots and lots of other examples of invasive insects. One would be the emerald ash borer. Emerald ash borer is native to Asia and has come over and is wiping out all of the ash trees. So it's causing ecological harm. It's getting rid of all of our ash trees, and because of that, they're trying to start to quarantine it and put it in different areas and keep them in those areas. That way it doesn't spread all the way across the country, as you see in this picture here. Are all invasive species bad? There are some positive examples. One example would be the European honeybee. It was brought to North America with European colonists. Obviously from there they would rapidly spread, and European honeybees pollinate most of America's commercial crops, providing money to our economy. The bad thing about them possibly could be the fact that it could have taken the role of another organism that would have existed, but has not come because of the European honeybee. So as much as they look positive, they still possibly could be negative because you never know what that role that they're replacing could be. How do we get rid of invasive species? It takes a lot of time, money, and energy. It's hard to get rid of any specific organism without hurting the rest of the ecosystem, right? Because the easiest way to get rid of an organism would just be either poisoning it or overhunting it, right? But you never know the harm that you're doing to the ecosystem when you do those things. So it's very difficult in order to get rid of an organism, as you saw with the Burmese python. They pay people to hunt them, right? Asian carp, they're trying to find reasons to hunt them, even though people don't like to eat them. So it is very difficult to get rid of a species once it becomes invasive and starts to take over. Invasive species aren't limited to animals. There are tons and tons of examples of invasive plants that start to take over once you plant them in certain areas because there's nothing eating those plants. So invasive species are very popular, becoming more and more popular as we're trying to understand ecosystems and prevent them from happening. But they are very popular and happen all the time. Alright, so that is all I have for you today. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you guys soon.